All right.
Hi,
Well,
Mark.
yep.
Get this going.
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing well. See if you can intro us here. Hopefully, you guys can see the screen. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it looks like I think everyone should be able to see the screen. So great. Welcome everyone to the workshop. This is the Get Your Spouse Back workshop. Glad to have everyone here. I know that we have a number of people who are attending live, and that's great. Even if people are catching a little bit of the recording, that's fine too. So in case you are unaware, just to introduce who we are, my name is Marc Johnston. My business partner there is Heather Choate. We do get confused sometimes, so we always emphasize, no, we are not married. We have our own respective spouses. We just happen to be working together. But yes, 8 years ago, Heather and we started a business. We started High Thrive Coaching, which focused pretty much exclusively on saving marriages. I myself, I've worked many years in the mental health field, a number of different places, ranging anywhere from, say, alcohol and addiction to like special needs spectrum, autism spectrum sort of situations to, more traditional therapy and whatnot. And so I picked up a lot over the years, but it's only more recently that like I've always had this interest in dealing with really extreme cases. And so when we started working on relationships, I saw that there was a really big need for trying to solve some of these really extreme cases where people are wanting divorce or separation, and there is still one partner who wants to explore some ways to maybe salvage things. So that's exactly what we do. Is we specialize in those very specific cases. We specialize in those really extreme situations where maybe there's a lack of communication, maybe there is someone who's wanting out, and how do we start putting things back together? So basically, well, there we go. Who this training is for like if you are in one of those extreme cases, even if maybe your marriage is not really in a bit of a crisis, we still help a lot of those more less dire cases as well. But essentially, if your spouse is talking about divorce or maybe even has started the divorce process, that's what we specialize in. If your partner has been engaging in an affair, whether that they're openly engaging in that or a bit secretive, that's what we specialize in. If there has been this drop off in communication, maybe they aren't talking to you much at all, maybe they've given you the cold shoulder, maybe it's something a little bit more extreme than that, that's exactly what we specialize in. And I just, in all these cases, I thought to myself, there has to be something that we can do with all this. There, if there's one partner that's willing to work and to focus on some solutions, we thought there has to be something. And that's exactly what we focus on, is these sort of really difficult situations. Now, Sergio is going to take over quite a bit from here. I just wanted to really introduce the team and who we are and what we do. Sergio himself has been working with us for many years, is really awesome at what he does. And so, if he's saying something, you might as well consider it's being said by me. So hope you guys can listen to him a bit.
Super good. All right, guys. So let's begin with the workshop today. This is the second one we do today, actually. We're testing out whether the morning or the night it's gonna work better.
Hey, Sergio, just sorry to interrupt you. Like your audio is sounding a little bit, I mean, we can hear you. I can hear you at least. It just sounds a little bit off. I don't know if there's something that you did to adjust it.
Let me get the right microphone in.
Just want you to get deep into things, and
yeah,
it just sounds like you're almost
there, hopefully.
It didn't really change much. I mean, it's not a huge deal. People, I'm sure people can still hear you. Just let us know if there's some difficulty. Please let us know in the chat.
Yeah. Let me know in the chat, because sometimes the microphone does give some difficulty, but we should be good now. Welcome everyone to the workshop. Now, the cool part about what we're gonna be doing today is that there is a difference. Usually we do master classes. Today we're doing a bit more of a workshop. The mindset here is less focus on just teaching you guys and rather focusing on trying to make this an interactive thing using a whiteboard rather than just teaching you guys with the slides. That means I want you guys very engaged in the chat, both on Facebook and on Zoom, because again, the idea is we're going to be explaining things on a whiteboard, and that means that we're going to be editing things as we go to make sure you guys understand that, right? So pretty cool stuff. With that in mind, let's get started. I see now more people joining here. Pretty good stuff. Welcome everyone. So let's get started here. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to share now the whiteboard. Whiteboard. All right. Share whiteboard. Perfect. Again, if you guys cannot hear me well at some point, just let me know. Maybe I moved too far away from the microphone or something. Now, here's the deal. Here is the deal. Today we're going to be covering mainly three things. We're going to start with the mindset, how you have to think about things, okay? Especially we call it the negativity loop. We're going to be explain to you how to get out of that negativity loop with what we call the alcoholic analogy, okay? Pretty funny analogy, but it will make quite a bit of sense. I will explain why you guys are not a doormat being stepped on by your spouse. You are not the powerless person in the relationship. Rather, you are the empowered one. More on that in just a second. As we cover the mindset, we're going to go into the big picture strategy, right? So we're going to be talking about the old way versus the new way of actually approaching extreme situations. And then on top of that, we're going to be covering the buts. Basically, that means I wish I had hope, but this, but that, and see which buts you're right to not have hope about, and which buts you're right to maybe have more hope about, right? And then we're going to go into the actual strategy and tactics, the actual system, right? What really sets us apart, as I found out more about Marc, as we've been working together for a long time. The first thing that shocked me is the amount of systems, strategy, steps that he follows in the systems. Everything is documented. Whereas when I've seen every other coaching program out there, and they're all about these kind of fluffy concepts of, yeah, you have to work on yourself. Yeah, improve communication. Dude, I know. How, right? What do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to do today? And you're going to see how not only we have a process, but the process has a plan, and the plan has trackers and checklists, right? Ways to track information, ways to track behavior, right? So we're going to go into those things like the home messages plan, things like the temperature check. All those things are going to take a quick look at that, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So stay tuned for that. Let me just check here real quick all the comments. There we go. So let me know in the chat. I want to know before we get started, what are we dealing with today? We have many people now here live on Facebook and on Zoom. Let me know, what are you dealing with? Affair, divorce, communication. Let me know here in the chat, what are you dealing with? So let me know there. I'm going to be reading them, and based on that, we're going to be customizing a bit the workshop for everyone here. So get that ready. Yeah, there we go. We have the chat here. Divorce plan and affair, says Christy. Right, interesting. Constant fighting, says Sarah. Oh, you're Sarah, cool. Talking a bit later. Nice to have you here. Case, divorce papers file, separated 18 months. Stephen, wife wants to separate, not in love, an affair. Dot, which doesn't have a name. Wife is pursuing, I think it says typo, a life separate from me. Cool, exactly, right? You guys can see what we all have in common here. These are not your typical situations the average coach deals with. These are not the average situations the average therapist deal with. We need something bigger, right? Whether it is, just the constant fighting and not being able to just stand each other at all, to the wife wanting totally different life from you, Andre, she's saying, I love you, but I'm not with it anymore. These are actual hardcore situations, right? Jesse, we're actually divorced now. Exactly, right? But we decide to try and start over. So many of you are scared right now of the divorce papers, and we tell people all the time, dude, the process works not because we work on the divorce papers, we work on the relationship. You can see how Jesse here, he was divorced when he found us, right? And they're working on starting over again now, right? So it's pretty funny. The divorce papers don't really matter to us. People make these big deals about things, right? I would talk to somebody that their spouse threatens to leave the house, and they make such a big deal about it. I talk with somebody else that their divorce is about to happen, and they make such a big deal about it, right? Everyone is in their own little world and making a big deal out of their things when none of those things really matter. What matters is the relationship and the perception. Anyways, I digress. I appreciate you guys engaging so much. This is actually wild. So many people commenting today. Usually people are a bit more quiet. So it's pretty good. Anyways, so mindset. How do we treat this? Let me open up some of my notes here. Right. So the negativity loop. Cool stuff. So what's negativity? Negativity means for us when you are thinking, when you are in your head and you are overthinking, overreacting somewhat, and usually overestimating, okay? Or usually I would say underestimating the amount of hope, okay? That means you are so much in your head. You are inside your little bottle, right? Like a bottle of wine or something. That's what we need right now in the afternoon, right? You're inside your bottle, but from the inside, you cannot read the label. You are effectively trapped inside the bottle, right? That is one reason. But anyways, more on that later. I'm going to explain why you really shouldn't trash yourself when it comes to hope. But the main point I'm making here is negativity is all this overthinking, and especially is you thinking that you're a special snowflake. And again, we're all special and we're respectful of everyone, and everyone has their emotions and their feelings. I do agree. Everyone who is on an extreme case feels like they're the only one in an extreme case. You guys are not. Your situation is not special. The fact that you're supposed to having an affair, yes, it's special for your little group of friends, but in the whole US, it's happening to many people at the same time. And we see it all of the time. Sure, the affairs maybe happen only to a very small percentage of the population, to 1% of the population, say, right? But to us, it's to 90 or 100% of our clients, right? More like 70% of our clients come to us with an affair, right? Point being, you are in this negativity loop, and the negativity is basically affecting you in many ways you don't even realize right now. That means you are negative, that negativity, aka that lack of hope, let's say, okay, that hopelessness shows up in multiple ways. It shows up in your behavior with your spouse. It shows up in your feelings with yourselves, right? Feelings, so you feel more like shit, effectively, right? More stressed out, more prone to doing crazy things. And it also affects your coach that you don't listen to. That's really annoying, right? What I'm trying to say is that sure, in your head, you believe you're doing a fair assessment of the hope. In your head right now, you have a number, and we're gonna do this exercise now, right? I'm gonna go through it a bit later more. But I want you guys to tell me in the chat right now, from 1 to 10, what is your hope at? 1 being there is no hope at all, 10 being if I do the right things, it will work. Where is each of you right now? Let me know in the chat. And if you guys don't know how to open the chat, I would assume if you're on your phone, you can click on the screen, tap on it once, and on the bottom right, there are 3 dots. Click on the 3 dots and open the chat. While you're in the chat, you cannot watch the stream, I think, but it's totally fine, just for a couple seconds. Give me your number. All right. Sorry, you're certainly not a 3. That's a bit ridiculous, right? I've talked to people in way worse situations giving me higher numbers. Your situation is pretty good, to be honest. Look, even Jesse, for God's sake, Sarah, Jesse's a 70%, and he's got divorced already because he's making progress. You're not a 3. That's what your brain is saying, if that makes sense. That's what your negativity cycle is saying. No, I say from 1 to 10. Andre says, I've learned that psychology says that your thoughts generate your feelings, which generate your actions. Exactly. Seth says, I have 7. I have a lot of hope, but I still deal with fear and worry. Exactly, right? Once you see the progress happening, you do have a lot more hope, right? Even after a divorce has gone through. Like imagine that, Sarah, right? So again, certainly not afraid at all. If you're this Sarah, I think you are. Hopefully you are. Any case, point being, all of you have a number. And what I'm going to tell you right now is that that number is irrelevant. We couldn't care less how much hope you believe there is. Because we don't trust your assessment. You are the client. You are the one who, A, first of all, got into trouble, right? You are the one in trouble, aka you are the one asking for the help. And B, you shouldn't trust your own assessment because you are right now emotional. You are in a distressed situation. And on top of that, you are inside the bottle. What I'm just trying to shine some light here is that even if you feel extremely hopeless right now, I want you to understand it's very likely bullshit. It is. You are not the one to give advice to yourself or anybody else whether there is hope or not. Because you got yourself into trouble in the first place, right? Additionally, you are in a distress situation. You are also in the middle of the fight every day. You see all the bad things, but you lack the perspective. You don't have the big picture view. It's like if I ask you guys, hey, we're going to do a brain surgery, right? What's your hope that's going to go well if you do it? That is the question you're asking in your head. You're asking, if I were to try to fix it by myself, what's the hope? But unlike in the medicine field, which is very easy to recognize through experts from fake experts, the marriage, especially extreme situations field, it's very difficult to differentiate people who don't know what they're talking about from people who actually have a system, a strategy, right? And that's what we're trying to show all the time, the actual steps, the actual system, the checklist, the flowcharts. So you guys can see that this surgery, this treatment we're kind of offering you guys here, it's not just made up in the air. It has flowchart, it has system, it has checklist. There is system, processes built in. It's an actual treatment you go through. Anyways, point being, even if you feel extremely hopeless, that's likely bullshit. That is just your thoughts. That's leading you to overthinking, overreacting, and it's hurting you in so many ways. It's making you believe something that is not true. It's making you act a bit more hopeless, which is damaging your spouse, making it less likely for it to work. It's making it harder for you. And dude, you're making it harder for me and Mark and Heather to go up to you and tell you, look, you say you're a 5, you're a 9, very likely. This is not as bad as we see. Let's go do something about it. Maybe you're a 7 and you're an 8. In rare cases, people say that a 10, and I say, hey, look, you're maybe not a 10, you're like an 8 or a 9, right? We have to be realistic too, but most people are under-realistic. They are underestimating how much hope there actually is, which is the point here. And they underestimate that because they just don't know how to fix it. But just because you don't know how to fix something, it doesn't mean it's hopeless. Just because you don't know how to build a house, it doesn't mean nobody can build houses. Anyways, with that in mind, I want you guys to go a bit deeper now into the alcoholic analogy, right? We've talked about this first point, the negativity loop. We're going to make an analogy here to try to make the point of why there is hope and why I'm not just trying to convince you guys that there is hope magically. That's bullshit. I don't believe there is hope for every situation, but I do believe 100% that most of you guys, 99%, are underestimating the hope. Why? Because it's very simple, right? It's called the recency bias, the recency bias. I put it here so it's easier. I think it's like this. Bias, there we go. Let me move the microphone. What is this all about? This is all about whatever happens most recently is what you feel the strongest. So when we get perspective from somebody, we look at the past year, 2 years, month, whatever. We look at the big timeline, right? Problem is, when you are yourself inside of the bottle, you only see, as an example, say that this is like the good and bad situations, right? So you get a good interaction, a good one, right? But then, there are, of course, more bad than good ones. That's why you guys are here, right? Very understandable, right? The problem is your mind, your brain can only see the past 2 or 3 interactions. So you really focus on this. So maybe you're having 2 bad days and then you have a good one and you feel so much more hopeful. But you have another bad one, another bad one, another bad one, and you feel like shit. You're missing out on the whole perspective. That's the point I'm trying to make here, right? That's why you can't tell if there is hope. Anyways, hopefully that's making sense. Now, again, this is a workshop, so we're actually gonna make this a bit harder for you guys. Let me know in the chat what the negativity loop is all about. I want you guys to give me a brief explanation of what it is. That's what we do with our clients. We explain a concept. Yeah, I can see your chat, Kirsty. It's private, so I can see all the chats, but other people cannot see your chat. So let me know in the chat what the negativity concept is about, or at least what you understand. Let me know in the chat, what did you understand from the negativity loop? What's the point of it? Let's make sure you guys understand the concepts. Andre said 3 good and 8 bad in the timeline is overall pretty bad. No, it's a bullshit timeline that you're overreading, overthinking, right? At this point, it's just like a bullshit timeline, right? You can see how even a tiny example gets overthought because of the negativity cycle, right? The overthinking, the overanalyzing, right? So Christy says people focus more on the negative. No point. It just drags you down. Exactly. That I do not have a clear perspective. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. That's the real point. Wade made it really clear. You guys don't have a negative, a clear perspective, and that's okay. That's what I'm trying to point out here. Do not trust yourself to assess the hope that there is. That is the main point here. Okay. Do not trust yourself to believe that. Okay, bad days are something I'm working on. Exactly, right? But again, that's just we're thinking about analyzing, right? Bad days are just bad days. It doesn't really matter. The strategy is a different thing. We don't look at all the details. We look at the big picture. Main point, guys, really understand. You're inside the bottle. You can't see shit outside of it. That's why we want to look at actual facts, actual things going on. More on that later. We're going to teach you all about that. Okay? Yes, a bit. Now, that you guys are clear on that, let's go into the alcoholic analogy. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. All right. Actually, I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you wanna talk about first? We might not have time for everything, so that's why I'm making you guys choose a bit too. We can talk about why you're not the loser here, aka why you're actually not a doormat being stepped on, or B, the alcoholic analogy, aka why you shouldn't trust anything your spouse says or does. Say A, we'll say alcoholic or something for the alcoholic one, and say doormat or loser for the one talking about you're not the loser here. Which one you want to hear about? In the morning, it was pretty tight. Christy A, B, alcoholic, and just say alcoholic or doormat. Let's see what you guys want to hear about first. Alcoholic. All right, cool. Let's hear about the alcoholic analogy first. Many people talking about that. This is the one I actually think is a bit more interesting here for you guys based on what you guys are telling me today. So, say that my argument that I just made, okay, was enough. Maybe, guys, not to convince you that there is hope. I don't know if there is hope. I need to do assessments to tell us if there is hope, right? Me and Mark do daily assessments every day with people, and we tell them, hey, there is hope, there is no hope, right? No bullshit. So I'm not trying to convince you there is hope. I'm trying to convince you that it is less hopeless than you think it is. Now, say that my previous argument, the argument that you're inside of the bottle, the argument that you don't know what you're talking about, right? And that's okay because it's not your area of expertise. The argument that, hey, your assessment of hope is biased. You're not being objective with the hope because you're inside of it, right? Was enough, maybe not to give you hope, but to make you just a tiny little bit more humble. Okay, just a bit more humble to say, hey, look, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe everything I've tried that didn't work, maybe it was just me. I wasn't trying the right things. Let's be humble for a moment, right? Now, point being here is if we are not trying to how do I say this? If there is hope, right? The question is, cool, there is hope. What is the goal, right? And I want you guys to understand this, right? What is the goal here for you guys? Let me know. Is it A, getting your spouse back, reconnecting, opening communication? Is it B, getting them to stop a divorce? Or is it C, getting them to work or getting them to stop the affair? Which one is it? And again, it's a bit of a trap question, but I want you guys to let me know what you think. A, B, or C? What is the actual goal here for you personally? A, B, or C? I want everyone to tell me. Actually, I don't want just random engagement. This is not a Facebook Live. The comments don't give me more reach. All I want is make sure that you guys are actually getting what you're here for, right? The custom content. Christy A, Jesse and C, Katrina. Hey, Katrina, what's up? What are you doing here? We're here to help you, Katrina. Send me a text message. We will work something out for you. I promise. Anyways, Jesse A and C, Christy A, Kate, stop divorce B, Stephen, I want my wife back A, no longer the affair. I just want her to let go of the other guy. Exactly. Cool. So you guys seem to want something. You guys seem to want to get something here, right? You see the pattern. Get in. Bullshit. BS. All of them are wrong. That's the fun part. That's a trick question, right? That Mark and I ask in the sessions. It's a trap. Guys, you need to understand. If we allow you to join our program, if we let people follow our path methodology, it's not because they want their spouse back. Please accept me back. Begging, pleading, thinking that you are doing this from a powerless position. Thinking that you're the one kind of getting stepped on by your spouse, right? Saying, hey, please have me back, right? Please stop the divorce. You have all the power. I need to convince you, right? Please, I need to convince you that I'm better. Guys, you are not convincing anybody of anything. Going back also to the example we were mentioned earlier, you are not a doormat being stepped on. You are the empowered person. Now, how does this connect to the alcoholic angle? More on that in just a second, okay? But I need you guys to understand, you are not doing this to get them back. You are doing this because you know in your heart of heart that as much as you are in pain, your pain, their pain is twice as much. It's 2x pain, what they have. And you will say, well, what if? No, no what if. If you were in the same mode of pain they are, you would be pushing for divorce. If you were as confused as they are, you would be having an affair. If you were going through what they're going, which again, you're going through pain, I get that, but they're way more confused, way more in pain. That's why they're doing the crazy things they're engaging on. Things that you would never imagine them doing when you first got engaged, right? All right, we're gonna tie this back into a second, into the alcoholic example, but I want everyone here, let me know, what's the point of this argument I just made? Give me a quick, 1-2 line summary of what you understood from this. Again, we're testing some new ways of explaining things. So it's gonna be useful to understand what's going on. And we're gonna tie it up into the alcoholic example in just a minute. But let me know, what's your summary from this? From the idea of you're not doing this to get your spouse back. You're not doing this to beg, to please. You're doing this because you know they're in pain and you're taking their pain and sins on your back temporarily to help them see the light to the point that then them will come back to you and will come back to you improved. This is that actually clears up a lot. Seth, their pain and confusion greater than yours or my own. Exactly. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. If it's hitting, if not, I will explain it a bit differently. Because this needs to make sense. You guys need to be able to summarize this in 1 or 2 phrases. Come on, I need a few more people to do it before we move on. So take the leap. Stephen, her pain has been driving her and I should be there for her to listen and support. Yes, you're nailing it. You're nailing it. Jesse says, I have a feeling and have many comments about it, but didn't understand how much pain she was really in. Yes, and Jesse, that's the point. You are not doing this. I want you guys to understand. You're not doing this because you want them back. You're doing this because you need to realize now, as an extreme situation couple, you're doing this because they are in more pain than you are right now. So all the crazy things they're doing are justified within that framework. Okay? Now, let's tie it back. Empowering myself to help support her better. Yes, that's what's going on, right? Now, when we say, and Patrick said, empowering myself to help support her better. That's good. It also sounds like a bit of BS, to be honest. It sounds like the typical thing you would read on a self-help book, right? Which is cool, but you guys don't need self-help excessively. You need some development for sure, but you don't need like generic advice like, hey, empower yourself to support her better, right? What does that mean, right? But yes, this is actually what I mean. What I mean is that you're not doing this. Please, can I have you back? Can I convince you? Can I manipulate you to have you back? No. You're going through this process, and we're going to talk about the process in a second, the exact steps, the details, the flowchart, the checklist, okay? Not generic concepts, the actual day-to-day, okay? Copy and paste messages, literally. But you're doing this for her because she is or he is the person struggling the most. Why are they the person struggling the most? Because look at their behavior. It's erratic, okay? Now, hopefully that's enough to shift you guys from the mentality of I want something from her. I want to get you back. And helping you guys realize that no, you're not getting them back. They are still there. The person you love is inside. You are unlocking them. You're picking them up from the ground so they can be the person they were before you first got engaged. Okay? Cool. Now, we're going to tie this back to the next point. And again, all we're doing right now is we're trying to give you guys new perspectives so you can understand where you're at. Because you're in a bottle. I'm trying to get you out of the bottle, unlocking you guys. So, see, here. Cool. So with this in mind, what I'm trying to say is that there is more hope than you guys think. But when I say this, and again, it's gonna take back to the alcoholic in just a minute, I promise you guys, but it's a long-winded point. When I say, look, A, you're inside the bottle, you don't see the hope. B, there is more hope because it's not you getting him back, she's already there, right? But all of you are likely still thinking things like, well, I'm a 5 or I'm a 6, right? But I wish, or like something like, I wish that I had more hope, but you have several but she's filing for divorce, but she says she doesn't love you, but I go talk to her, she ignores me. All of you have these buts blocking your hope and getting you stuck mentally all the time. As you're stuck mentally, you make bad decisions. And again, the way we approach recovery marriages is like chess. It's not overall principle. It's, hey, you need to do the smarter moves every second, every minute, every hour to show them what reality is, right? To shift their perception. Anyways, point being, I want you guys to let me know in the chat. What are your buts? What are your buts? I'm going to review every single one of them and tell you if it's bullshit or not. So things like, he won't change my mind. I wish I was more hopeful, but he wants separation. But he's having an affair with my friend. But his parents got divorced. So he has a history of divorce. But he's really hard to change his mind. But he has bipolar disorder. But he's not talking to me at all. But he's ignoring me. I've heard everything. But again, let me know your buts. Let's see if we can come up with something new here, right? But he told me to move on. Says fly, Donna G. But he says people don't change. But what if he feels for affair more than me and goes ahead with divorce and not try? Christy, he's not gonna try. More than that in a second, you will see why. And that's fine that he doesn't try. But her kids are mad and she said that she don't feel for me. Exactly, Joss. But she's very set in her ways. Victoria, but he wants separation. But communication is difficult. But he doesn't feel the same. But people don't change and their personality is set in their own ways since they're 5 years old, right? Heather? Oh no, I was confused. So a comment from Heather and I was like, wait, are you Heather here? I was like just the assistant. But he told me too much heart. All right, you guys have your hearts noted down, right? Your butts. Sarah, let me know your butt. So I wanna get you guys here. Sarah, I'm missing you. Adriana, I'm missing you too. Stephen, I'll see if I saw you. Richard, let me know your butt in the chat. You can open up in the bottom right. There is a little 3 dots. Open it up. James, same thing. Toti, let me know too. Eric Williams, let me know in the chat. Patrick, she wants separation and is adamant. He told me too much area. Stephen, let me know here your butts. All right, so we have all of these butts. Cool. Now here's the thing. I'm going to tell you the following, and it's quite the interesting point. We're going to go through each of them individually in a second, but I want to know if that is your reason why there is no hope. I need you to understand that all of those butts are actually bullshit, are actually not really relevant. One second. My spouse just came home. It's kind of late here, so we are away from the office, saying hi. Sorry for the trouble. Anyways, so what I was saying, we have all this list of bats, right? And you guys think there is no hope, which is very fair. Just think how we can approach this a bit different. To explain it. You know what? I'm gonna actually clean it up because I can't even draw here. It's kind of tricky. There we go. It's gonna be a little bit easier. All right, that's better. So we have all of these bats. Now I'm gonna tell you, all of those bats are actually a bit of bullshit. Why? Why is that happening? Well, you need to understand. Your spouse is in pain. Pain equals emotions, right? Your spouse, right now, we're finally tying it back. It's what we call an emotional alcoholic. Let that sink in. An emotional alcoholic. Now, what does that mean? That means that you are emotional, sure, but your spouse is 2-3 times that. When somebody is an alcoholic, they engage in, guess what? Crazy behavior. What does that mean? That means that it doesn't really matter what your spouse is doing right now. It doesn't really matter the actions they are taking right now, what they say, because you don't trust the words of an alcoholic. You don't trust the words of a drunk person. That means your spouse could say, I hate you. That means nothing to us as experts. Why? Because we know that people saying this, especially in a marriage with kids after so many time, right? And with so many things in common, it just doesn't happen that way. They are going through something, either a midlife crisis, bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression, stress at work. It's been too much negativity with you over the past months or years. Doesn't matter what they say or do. Went out of the house and started living with a third partner. That is crazy behavior, and we've fixed that. But the point is, you don't trust what an alcoholic says. Now, let me put this more clearly in just a second. Let me know in the chat, because I'm gonna continue here, but I want to make sure it's kind of making sense here. What do you understand from this point, from the alcoholic point? See if you can summarize it in a couple of sentences here in the chat. We do this a lot with clients, in which we explain a concept, and rather than asking them, hey, do you understand? Yes or no? We say, hey, look, explain it back to me. So explain back to me in just a couple of sentences, what is this whole alcoholic argument? What does it mean to you? Let me in the chat. Seth is saying what they're saying isn't really what they're feeling, because they don't even know what they're feeling because of all their emotions. Pretty good point. I'm gonna put it here. Stephen Hess says, her negativity is coming from her pain, not from me. Cool, but that's a bit more of an off comment. I'm gonna rank it a little bit lower. I'm gonna make a bit of a ranking here of how on your guys are on. Josh says, you can't trust what they say because they're based on it of emotions that are overloaded with negativity. That's better, actually. I like that. That's a bit top right now. Andre, I can't see someone being in wild emotions all the time. Emotions work that way. They come and go. Exactly. And when they come, they're crazy. They go, they're chill. It's called hot and cold behavior, right? That's the whole point. And you're also, Andre, overthinking everything from a psychology perspective. This is not about psychology, this is about behavior. You're overreading things from a psychology perspective. Psychology is good if you both are happy. What we're working on here for divorce affairs is perception. That's a totally different story. But yeah, I agree with you. People are not always wild. But you need to understand that people do get wild sometimes. It's like the heartbeat, right? Or like this is a heartbeat, right? But sometimes you spike out, right? For a minute. You yell, you fight, you do something crazy, you have an affair, right? You see what I mean? Anyways, irrelevant. Wait, their behavior is poor indicator of what's really going on. That's a good point. I like that quite a bit. It's a bit off because it's not just their behavior. We really want to look at their behavior to kind of tell what's going on, right? Their behavior is a good indicator of what's really going on, but it's a bad indicator of how much hope there is. Okay? Their behavior is a symptom. Let's see. Christine, trying to numb emotions somehow. I don't really get that much. But that's not what's going on here. Okay, so let's go through the just real quick. All the different comments we have here so far. So I really like this one. The main point of the alcoholic point is that you cannot trust what they're saying because what they're saying is they're saying it and they're doing it, but they're in pain right now. They're an emotional alcoholic. So they're going to do crazy things and you should expect that. Now, it's a very good point what this comment said. The behavior support indicator was really going on. Yes and no, right? My point is not about what's going on. We want to look at their behavior because their behavior is going to tell us what they're thinking, right? They're going to tell us what they're lacking, what they're needing, what they believe about you, right? But their behavior is a non-factor, meaning their behavior is irrelevant when it comes to addressing hope. It's not how it works. Okay? It's just not how it works. Behavior matters for what they're thinking, sure, but that's not what we're talking about in this point, right? Right now we're talking about why there is hope or why you are underestimating hope. And most of you are underestimating hope because you have a big but. And what I'm making the point here is that that big but is usually behavioral. It's usually either things that your spouse thinks or says or does. And that's not the point. That's not how things work, right? What's going on is that there is a set of beliefs. Those beliefs are being translated into actions. Okay? Usually, more like this. Usually it is beliefs that translate into emotions that translate into actions, right? That's usually how we go about it, right? So your spouse believes that you don't love them, right? You don't love her, which makes her feel sad or angry, which translate into her pulling away. Make sense? Most of you guys are saying, oh, because she pulls away, there is no hope. No. Oh, because she's sad, there is no hope. No. It is that she believes incorrectly that you don't love her or that you don't provide for her or that you don't care about her or that you have an affair and you cannot be trusted, whatever. You can't communicate, that you can't be happy together, that she will be happy with another man, with another person, right? And here's the thing. You don't control everything. You don't control her actions. You don't control her emotions, but you for sure can control the narrative. You can help somebody realize that their beliefs are wrong. That you can show them, hey, look, I actually love you. Look at what I do. Look at what I say. And if you do that through what we call home messages, you will change the belief. And that's why we're so confident this process works. Because we don't care about what she's doing. We don't care about what she's feeling. We care about what she's thinking. And once we fix her thinking, her emotions get aligned, her actions get aligned. Make sense? Now, let's try again. See if any of you can give me a quick recap of what we just mentioned. Actually, I could pick up here. What's the point? Seth says, we care about her emotions, not her actions, and there is still hope. Exactly. Change thought process will change emotions, and emotions will change actions. My point is, let's see if I can make it even more clear. Imagine, I'm trying to explain why their actions are not a good indicator of whether it's hope or not. That means if your spouse is having an affair, that is not an indicator that there is no hope. If your spouse is not talking to you at all, that's not an indicator there is no hope. Those are actions. Actions are symptoms. Symptoms come from underlying issues. We fix the underlying issues, we fix them. What most of you guys are doing, and really please pay attention to this for a second, really concentrate here. Really concentrate here for a second. Is what most of my point is, what most of you are saying and thinking, is most of you are getting it now, which is good, but there's still like a small percentage of people getting it wrong. Hopefully we can get almost everyone to get it right. My point is here is, imagine your kids, right? Or the people you love the most in the world, your mom, your kids, whatever. This is a bit of a funny analogy we make to clients, right? But it's interesting, a bit of an exaggeration. But imagine you go into your kid's bedroom and you find them doing drugs. They have meth, they have cocaine, they have a whole party there, right? And you find out that they're drug users, right? They're doing drugs, your kids. You go up to them and you say, hey, look, stop doing drugs. Let me know in the chat. What do you think they're going to reply back to you? Let me know. When somebody who's doing drugs, and you just go up to them, you just find out you're stressed, and you say, hey, look, stop. What's going to be the reaction back to you? Andre says they will say, you can tell me what to do. Exactly. They're going to be defensive. Exactly. I can't. I'm addicted. They will say, fuck off. They will do crazy shit. They will go out of the house, live with their friend, right? Way more extreme behavior than you guys are even saying, right? They will engage in something extreme, right? They will say, fuck off, I'm leaving home, right? I'm going to live with my friend. What do you guys say back, right? What do you guys do? Oh, all right, guys. I wish I could have my son quit drugs, but he says he doesn't want to quit. All right, boys, it's done. Was a good game, you know, let's have another kid, right? We go make another kid now. No, the fact that he's saying he can't quit is not it's not a valid reason why there is no hope. It is a byproduct, it is a symptom of a person who is in trouble. That's what's going on with your spouses. And that's why I'm trying to make it so clear that it doesn't matter the bats that they're bringing up. In 99% of the cases, those bats are symptoms. So we translate it back to your spouse. Your spouse is right now emotionally distressed, emotionally alcoholic, right? An emotional alcoholic of sorts, right? Attached to emotions, attached to certain feelings, right? And that means she's doing crazy things, crazy behavior. Do we just give up on them because they're doing this crazy behavior, because they're saying these crazy things? No, the crazy behavior is not the reason why you should give up. That's wrong. Hopefully that's hitting home a bit better now. Let me know in the chat, making sense? So, punchline. You guys are horrible, and that's okay. You know, it's normal. You guys are in the bottle, right? It's not your fault, but you're yourself are a horrible estimator of hope because you're stuck inside of the bottle. On top of that, all the bats that seem logical to you, right? I wish I could have her back, but she is moving out of the house. Of course she's moving out of the house. She hates you right now. It's normal. If she didn't do that, it would be weird, right? If somebody hates you and they're not moving out of the house, that would be the strange thing, right? It's normal behavior for somebody believing that, right? We don't give up just because that happens. That is a symptom. That's like going to a doctor with a tumor, right? And you say, hey, look, I've been feeling really bad lately, right? And they're like, yeah, you have a tumor. And you're like, yeah, I'm not sure if there is hope because I've been feeling bad lately, and they're like, no, yeah, there is hope. We can just, remove the tumor. And you're like, yeah, I'm feeling bad lately, overall. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I know. We need to fix the root issue, right? Now, with that in mind, let's go to the next point here. Finally, this one took a bit longer than with the morning class. So it's pretty funny. The big picture strategy, right? We've talked about the bats, and we've connected them to the alcoholic analogy, interestingly enough. We're going to talk about how do we fix this, right? How do we fix this stuff? There is more hope than you guys can tell. I'm telling you, if you know the system, if you know what to do, we will fix this. Anyways, in the meantime, also, some of you are asking, yes, we're going to be doing some, 1 second, let me get this for you guys in the chat. I'm going to put it up. Just can have it in the chat. Where is this? Apparently here. I'm gonna send you guys a link on the chat now. It's gonna be pretty cool, and hopefully you guys will like that. Here we go. So also, as we go through this, we are doing this weekend. Mark and me. It's a bit random who you guys might get assigned. Free assessments to tell whether there is hope or not, and do an actual assessment. We usually have around 150 different parameters that we look through to see if there is hope or not. I'm sending it over the link in the chat now, or you can just drop your phone number and we'll reach out to you after the masterclass to schedule a call. So you guys can have it there on the chat. There you go. You guys have it in the chat there. There we go. There you guys. Be sure to drop your name too, because if not, I'm not gonna know who I'm reaching out to. So let me know your name and I will reach out to you later on. Additionally, here is the office number. If you guys wanna book an assessment session, you wanna text assessment or something like that here, and either Mark or me will reply and get you guys set up. Again, it's free. There is no obligation to do anything, but we don't allow people to join our program without telling whether there is hope or not, because again, we stand by our success rate. Yes, Seth, you are set up for tomorrow, so you should be good. Anyways, you guys have that there in case you need that, so I'm gonna continue, don't worry. But just making sure, because some of you are asking about that, because some of you have already the appointment set actually, so it's pretty cool. Right? This software doesn't bother us too much. Also, if some of you can't see well the screen, because I know I get that sometimes, guys, you can zoom in your phone. That's a thing. So use your fingers to like zoom in, and zoom in theory will allow you to do that, right? So that's pretty cool. That's the phone number. You can just text assessment or something there, and we'll get you guys set up. Or if you can open the chat, you guys have that. Victoria, I'm not sure what happened with your appointment. Check your home message. Check your home message. Oh my God. Check your text messages. I think you might have not showed potentially. Maybe wrong. Check your text message and email for Sergio, and you will see. Yeah, Keith, you are set up for Monday evening, so you're good. Just pay attention. So when we ask you questions on Monday, you are actually ready to answer them. Anyways, let's continue. Guys, old versus new. What if I told you this? You guys need to tell me if this makes sense or not, okay? I'm gonna tell you that the solution for you to stop the divorce, stop the affair is the following. And again, pay attention and let me know if this makes sense. The solution is to open communication, okay? Is to rebuild trust, is to spark attraction, is to improve and grow yourself to become a better person. Sure, it's about, having deeper conversations. It's about spending more time together. Does that make sense as a potential solution? Yes or no? Pretty obvious, right? Let me know in the chat. Does that make sense as a potential solution? Yes, no, let me know. Oh yeah, we're set up for today, Victoria. I just didn't see. I thought it was a different Victoria. People are saying yes, Kate, deeper conversations, Christy, yes. So do you guys think this is a solution for what you guys are going through? Well, let me tell you, this is right. Sure, I agree with it, but it's also bullshit. Like, what does it mean to open communication? What does it mean to rebuild trust? That's like, I don't know. That's like being, you take a business course on university and they say, yes, sell things. Yeah. I mean, duh, right? Of course. Yes, sure. But how does this look like in reality? That is the old school of thinking. That's what we call therapy talk. Okay. In our team sessions, right? When the coaches meet and whatnot, when something like this comes up, we say, hey, look, that's therapy talk, right? That is fluff. That is general advice that looks reasonable, but it's not actionable. It is just a TED talk. Make sense? It's a TED talk, but there is no system, there is no track, there is no real expertise behind it. Make sense? Anybody can go and use ChatGPT or anything, right? Write a whole essay on how to open trust, right? Sure, but that doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. Anyways, I rant because I see so many people who don't really know what they're talking about, or they might know, they might be experts, but what they're talking about, it's not gonna work for extreme situations. So this is the old way, okay? That is the old way, guys. Now, it's the new ways are here. Well, it's the new way. Marc has been advocating for years, the new way that he's taught me and the whole coaching team, right? That we're trying to push so hard for everyone to see that this is the way to go if you're really, really in an extreme situation. Sure, your spouse is happy with you, but you both are fighting a little. Sure, go to therapy. Sure, go to counseling. Sure, read books about rebuilding trust, because that's nice. That's a nice thing to do, right? But you're bleeding out, you're dying, you're dealing with life or death situations, affair, divorce, total cold shoulder, your spouse not talking to you at all, right? You don't have the time to figure that out. So what's a new way? Very simple. We call it the movie analogy. Your spouse has a movie in his head right now. They're watching a movie. It could be a drama, it could be a horror movie, it could be anything. A movie is a set of characters, right? And a set of interactions that happen, right? A set of events has happened that determine the narrative, right? So your husband, your wife has a narrative about what's going on. Let that sink in. A narrative. They have their own story. That is wrong. And that story is made up of micro beliefs, smaller beliefs that set a story. Okay? So the new way is to take the movie, right? Take the old movie that they have and make it a new one. Sounds easy enough, right? No. Why? Because anybody we work with, it's not a straight line from switching the old movie to the new one. Why? Let me just make it a bit more clear. There is a wall in between. Right here. You see the wall? Usually there are multiple walls. You want to change the movie and we can help you with that. Changing the movie means they believe X, they believe that you're always angry through actions, through talking, through conversations, little by little, over a month. We get them to believe that you've changed and we help you change, right? And you're no longer angry. And as they hold 5, 6, 10 new beliefs, their actions will follow. Because again, actions are beliefs generate actions. Again, the basic stuff. What's the challenge? We need to deal with things like no communication. So before we can change everything, we need to deal with no communication. We need to survive through the divorce process, right? We need to slow it down. We need to survive the affair that's going on, right? So our process is summarized as follow. The new process is Your spouse has a movie. We switch their perspective while dealing with resistance. Resistance is challenges, right? At first, how do we handle the blood loss that's going on right now, right? We need to put a band-aid on some things so you can make it through the operation, right? If you lose too much blood, you will die, right? It's a bit of the same thing here, right? The divorce gets too bad, can't fix it. The affair gets too bad, it's gonna be harder, right? So it's not just switching the movie, it's doing it while dealing with resistance. So those are the keywords. We have an old movie to switch it, and we need to do so while dealing with the resistance. To the point that we can ask for a pause. That's the next keyword. That is what the process can be summarized as. Movie, switch, while, pause. Movie, switch, while, pause, right? So we switch the movie while we deal with trouble to the point that we can ask for a pause. See how I don't say stop, I say pause. So what Marc is all about is about trying to pause things rather than stopping. When people make progress, they get too excited and they set extreme boundaries. They set extreme asks. They say, hey, look, stop the affair, stop the divorce. No, we don't go to stop the divorce. We've made a lot of progress. We say, hey, look, we're going through, I'm having a bit of a busy time at work, or look, I'm struggling with finances. Let's put a pause on the divorce for a month. A pause. I agree with it, sure. Let's put it on pause. And usually it's because, again, they've seen you change your behavior. They've seen you change your behavior. They will agree to that pause. Or, hey, let's agree to pause the negativity. Hey, let's agree to talk more often. Let's agree to stop with the cold shoulder just for a weekend, right? And we ask for that pause, and from that pause, we grow and we grow and we make it better, right? Anyways, that's the old way versus the new way. Let me know in the chat here what your recap is of that. I want to see how well that's hitting. Let me know how much that's making sense. Give me like a quick 1 or 2 liner of what's the old way, what's the new way. Spending more time. Okay. Seth says the new way is slow approach. The old way was jumping into things head first. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna put it here. Who else? Sarah, Stephen, Victoria, Wade, I see you there. Eric, George, RT, welcome to the masterclass. Wait, let me know here. Exactly. So this whole point is all about, sorry, it was here. This is interesting. So I see some of you guys pointing out that the new way is a slow approach. The old way was jumping into things at first. Yes and no, kind of. The difference is a bit different from my perspective. The old way is about vague, oh my God, what's that? Old way is about vague concept. It's about fluff. It's about things that seem to make sense, but actually are not actionable. The new way is to say, hey, look, your wife has certain beliefs. We are going to switch up those beliefs and we're going to ask for a pause, right? It's tangible. It's a process. Kate is saying, new approach is to breathe and wait. Not at all, actually. No, the new approach is to focus on beliefs, if that makes sense. The new approach is to focus on beliefs. You can see it here. We have a set of beliefs that your spouse has. We break through the challenges, communication, divorce process, affair, and as we do that, we're going to be changing the beliefs. She believing that you're angry all the time. She believing that she doesn't like you. She believing that she's not attracted to you, right? Now switch that up to the opposite. And as we switch beliefs, her actions will inevitably follow. Okay? Dot says, change the narrative or belief will change their emotions, which changes their behavior. Yes, nailed it. Exactly, right? That's the whole point. Cool. All right, so with that in mind, let's go into the actual study, into the actual tactics, right? How this actually looks like. With there. So, old versus new. I'm going to show you more of what I mean. Why the old is about general ideas, make sense, are not good enough to survive an extreme situation. Okay? Good enough for extreme situations. Whereas the new is focused on. We know your spouse has a set of beliefs, need to change those beliefs through actions, through words, and most importantly, through having a plan, like actually knowing what to text, what to say, what to ask, what to do, what to answer back when she comes back with bad things, with negative behavior, right? And once we've changed her belief enough that she likes us back, that she trusts us back, we go for a pause. You see, it's a 1, 2, 3 kind of vibe, right? 1, we find out her beliefs. 2, we change them through having a plan. 3, we close by having a pause. Okay? It's not a fluffy strategy with general concepts. It's an actual step by step, right? That's what I really like about the process Marc has created over the past 8 years. Now, with that in mind, let's go through the process. So I'm going to draw here what the actual general process looks like, right? We're talking about the old versus the new. How do we put that into action? Well, I can tell you what we do, right? And you can try to see if you get anything from that that you can apply now. I want to make sure you at least understand the big picture. What we do normally is the following. We do an assessment, right? That usually involves quite a few variables that we look at. We have a list of over 100 variables, 100 different things that we look for in a situation to understand what's going on. Okay, so we look at a lot of variables. Usually this involves figuring out everything has happened from the beginning, right? So we get a lot of input from the client. Usually it takes like 2 to 3 hours, sometimes even in different calls. And we hear all the whole story and we hear everything and we ask a lot of questions. We have like over 100 different variables we look through, right? From communication, trust, affairs, divorce situation to financial dynamics. We look through everything. After the assessment, we say, hey, look, this is what she thinks. This is what you need to do. And this is what you avoid, of course. Very important. Now, this assessment is not the free assessment I talked about earlier. To be clear, right? We do a free assessment first that we try to focus on the hope. Because before working with anybody, we need to assess whether there is even hope or not. If there is hope, sure, we can let you guys into the program. If there is not hope, we're not going to bullshit you. We will tell you, and we do tell many people there is no hope. In fact, today I talked to somebody and there was no hope for them, right? It was too extreme of a situation. They had zero communication, literally. She didn't know where her husband was living. She didn't know her phone number, his phone number, and she couldn't talk to anybody. There was no divorce started, so there wasn't a legal contact she could reach out to, right? So if she can talk to him at all, like physically or text, or she doesn't know where he lives at all, I had to tell her, hey, look, maybe come to us later, but right now we can't help, right? Again, that's rare because we usually work with the very, very extreme cases, so we've seen everything. But anyways, if you want to get this free assessment first, some of you are new here. I'm going to send you guys again the link on the chat. Go ahead and book it. It's the bonus link there. You guys have it. That's the link, or you can drop your phone number, or if it's easier, just text me here, and we'll be paying attention to that over the weekend. Make sure we get you guys set up. Most of you guys are actually booked already, which is pretty good. But if some of you are missing, go ahead and book your free assessment. It should be pretty good. Anyways, so yeah, free assessment, share we bring here actually. Technically part of the process, right? To see if there is hope. Step 1, technically. Step 2 is the assessment, right? We talk about it. Step 3 is what we call the resistance cycles. Okay. Step 3 is what we call the pause button, which we talked about earlier, right? Did you see how we talk about pausing, right? Then we have the healing cycles. Now, what in the world is a cycle? For us, a cycle is as follows. You talk to your coach, you do what we call a temperature check every week. We look through a set of 15 variables to see what's going on. After the temperature check, we tell you what to do. We tell you what to say, how to say it, when to say it, what to do, when to do it, how to do it in front of your spouse so she sees the change, right? She feels comfortable, so you rebuild trust. So you go from her thinking you are always angry to her thinking that you can control your anger, right? And through that, we change our beliefs, of course. Anyways, the cycle is you go to your coach checks what's the temperature, we tell you what to do, you go do it, we review, and we repeat for about a month, each of them, okay? In the resistance cycles, it should about 3 to 4 cycles. The healing cycles are about 4 to 6 sometimes. Anyways, so with that in mind, please memorize this. Please really take a look at this because I'm going to be cleaning up the whiteboard, and this is going to be very relevant in just a second. So please take a good look at it, memorize it. You can take a screenshot of your phone if you need to. We're going to go through that in a second, so it needs to be very relevant. Things here a bit. Move this. Cool. So I think I can move this here. Maybe it's gonna fit, hopefully. Yeah, maybe it fits. Cool. Actually, I will move it here. All right, so those are different steps that we follow. Here, make it nice. Again, that's a workshop, right? Not a masterclass. We're trying to explain everything in the whiteboard. Cool. So with that in mind, now we're gonna go through the cool stuff. Let me just share the screen again, and we're gonna go now into the showing you how does it actually look like in terms of the day-to-day, right? So let's see if I can go to the presentation again. And we here, right? Presentation here. Present, share the screen. Fully. You guys can see now, yeah, you guys should be able to see now a presentation, right? If you can't, let me know in the chat, but you should be able to see something here, right? So anyway, you have here the summary here of like the old movie versus the new movie, right? So that's kind of what we need to do, change the movie in her head to the new one. But of course, when somebody's watching a movie, they're gonna react negatively if you change it, right? Anyways, how do we actually go about these things, right? So we've talked about the first step, certainly being the assessment, right? So in the assessment, what do? We use tools. Let me move this thing a little. There's also a typo there. There we go. Wait, late now. Assessment, the resistance cycles, the pause, add-on, and of course, we have the well-known healing cycles. Right? You can see how we focus on cycles quite a bit. And again, if you guys can see well, just zoom in. Zoom lets you zoom in, so you can just zoom. Anyways, what do we do? So the assessment is like this. Let me just show you an actual example. You can see how we're having things. We usually have a pretty long-winded conversation. We go through a checklist of 100+ variables that we need to know. And usually Marc or your coach will get to know your whole situation from the very beginning. We'll call out on your bullshit when you are saying something that is not a fact, that is your perception. And we're gonna get everything that that we need to know effectively. Now, with that in mind, once we have all the information, your coach, not even you, right? We will compile this for you, and we will tell you, look, this is what we understand. This is the whole story, and we're gonna put down the story here, summarized like a log, like actual facts. This is when she had the affair. This is when she moved out of the house. This is when the divorce is scheduled for. This is this, and that, right? The log. We're gonna try to ground things on reality, right? There we go. Just says, missed your pre-assessment today. I was at work. Pretty good. Pretty good. Andre, you were in the different coaching plan. You were in the, I believe, the group coaching perhaps, but we're happy to check on that. I missed my free assessment today. I was at work. Just you can reschedule there, but please be sure to make it work. You have the link right there in the chat, so you can just reschedule there. Be sure to make it work. as we're taking time away from our families to take these calls over the weekend. Again, because we're starting the next cohort of the coaching program for the next week, right? Anyways, we're gonna give you guys this. We're gonna break down all the story. You can see how we break it down. We break it down on the emotional stories on her head, the logical stories on her head, the story about the past in her head, and the story about the future in her head. So emotional being she feels unsafe. Logical being she believes you are a bad father. She about the past, she believes you were not there for her when she needed you. About the future, she believes she's gonna be happier when she moves with the third partner, right? And we're gonna note down all of these stories, the old stories. Okay, and you're gonna have that. We usually tell clients to print it out because this is the tool we come back to every single time to ground you on what we're doing. We're doing is changing stories. And through changing stories, we change beliefs, we change actions. And once we change their actions, we can get your spouse to also become a new person. So you're not the only one changing and improving, they will too. That's the goal here, okay? Now, once we have that, we also go into the home messages, right? This is the plan that we create. This is the overall branding plan of sorts, right? We find out usually there is an impossible problem. Just like you have a but, you say, I wish I had hope, but your husband, your wife has a but. Meaning they're thinking, oh, we're never gonna work together because this or that, or there is no hope because this or that. They believe there is an impossible, unresolvable problem, usually. Let me know in the chat. And again, it's a guess. We do this with clients sometimes, and about like 70 to 60% of people get the impossible problem right. So self-assessment is not the best tool to figure out what the impossible problem is. Let me know in the chat. What do you think the impossible problem is for your spouse right now? Very curious. Let me know in the chat. Some comments here. George, but they have to stop the first 6 times. Exactly, right? That's the impossible problem your spouse thinks. So it's usually something about you, like, hey, I wish we could be together, but you cheated on me, right? I wish we could be together, but you're always angry, right? I wish we could be together, but we don't love each other. Cool. Then we develop what we call counter narratives, right? What are we gonna say? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna change ourselves and improve ourselves? How are we gonna show our spouse that, hey, you believe we can talk and we can communicate? Look, I'm gonna go say this and I'm gonna go do that, right? Things like next time we are arguing, you're gonna handle it correctly. And after the fact, you're gonna point your finger and say, hey, look, I'm glad we were able to resolve this correctly. You're gonna put on the flashlight to the resolution, right? So it's just saying things, doing things, and pointing attention to the changes. Again, it doesn't happen over a week, it happens over 3 to 4 weeks, right? Then we also provide the client with a list of things to avoid and behaviors to avoid, right? Now, that's just a starting. That is just for the assessment, okay? Once we get that ready, we have the plan, you know clearly what to say. Next time there is a challenge, you tell your husband, hey, clean the house. He doesn't. How are you going to address that problem? Are you going to get angry? Or are you going to say, hey, look, this is an opportunity for us to have a healthy conversation and show him that, look, I'm not as emotional as you think I am. I'm not this kind of person. The past is no longer the past, and the future can change and be better, right? Through these counter narratives. And you use every challenge, every resistance as a piece of the puzzle to help them see that there is hope for the marriage. There we go. Sarah says, impossible problem that we're both unhappy and we have kept having the same issues all the time. Yes, that's a very common impossible problem. The impossible problem of, hey, we've tried to fix it before and it didn't work, right? And usually the answer is, well, you were both people who didn't know how to handle this. Once one of you, not both, but one of you is equipped with a way to resolve these issues, we can resolve the issues and then get the other person on board enough to learn how to resolve them as well. So they contribute too, right? So you need to develop counter narratives that counter that narrative is what people are missing. And you can see how this is just the first step, just this minute tiny step is dramatically different from the old way. The old way, what is the old way? Oh yeah, dude, sure, you need to open communication. You need to rebuild trust. Cool, how? what do I say? What do I do, right? That's what I like about Marc. He has everything laid out, so it's in front of him. Now, this is very basic stuff. Let's go into more deep stuff. So, resistance cycles. You guys remember what a cycle is, right? You meet with your coach tells you what to do, you go and do it, then you come back, you check the temperature, and you do something accordingly. Now, you can see that we have many things. We have home message trackers, we have flowcharts, have a temperature check. Now, the first thing we do is we run a temperature check, right? In these cycles. Remember, we're now looking at this. We're now looking at the resistance cycles, okay? We're here. You went through the assessment. Now you have a plan. You know what's going on. Let's go through the cycles, right? So first cycle, first time you meet, week 1, or week 2, technically, right after the assessment. We create a list of all the relevant things we need to check for you, right? Again, this is custom. It's very different for each person, but some of the things are actually shared. Things like, hey, how is the affair going on? How's the divorce going on? How's the negativity, communication, affair partner? How is the affair partner engaging with your spouse, right? This is your spouse in general. This is like your affair partner engaging. Social events, home stress, what mistakes have you made? How are the traumas playing out? What is going on with the drama triangle? Their mutual respect this week, touch points, emotions, alcohol. It's again custom. So again, you might not be struggling with alcohol, or your spouse might not be struggling with alcohol, but with bipolar disorder. We put that in here, okay? And we run this checklist every time we meet. We say, look, how are you this week? The affair. We go here and we check it out. We check it out. We check it out, right? We start seeing, hey, look, this week is actually looking quite green, right? Now we are in the resistance cycles. Do you think it's going to be green right then and there? No. You're changing the movie in their head, right? And when somebody's watching a movie, somebody's watching Netflix or something, right? And you go and you switch the movie, they're going to be upset because they were watching the other one, right? So it's going to be at the beginning a bit more negative, and it's totally normal and expected. Some people ask, well, what if, I start the process and my spouse doesn't want to talk to me and is saying, I want a divorce? I'm like, yeah, that's what we expect. That's why we call it the resistance cycles. It's not about if he does that, it's that when he does that, inevitably, what are you going to say back? How are you going to handle that? It's reactive, and that's fine. They're playing defensive, okay? Totally fine. Again, that's a non-problem. That's the whole point, the resistance cycles, okay? So we say, hey, look, we talk to you, we go through all the points. Usually we don't like to put checkbox. We just usually like to write. It's like, affair. How was the divorce this week? We put something like, no talk with the lawyer. That's good, right? She didn't talk with the lawyer. She put it off a little. That's good. So we like to put some text. And the cool thing is that after several weeks, you can see how the checkboxes week after week are moving little by little to the left, right? Which is the whole goal here, right? Again, sometimes you will go randomly to the red, you will go randomly to the blue. It has some spikes for sure, but you will see how there is a trend for sure, right? And we're tracking things. Anyways, your coach goes to the assessment and says, hey, look, this week you're in the orange red. You're here. Now, we put you in the flowchart. What's the flowchart? That is where the magic happens. And again, the flowchart is customized to every client. So I'm going to be showing you something that is not going to be relevant to all of you at all, but it's going to be good enough to kind of make a point, okay? Now, you can see how we have the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, and the blue, right? It's custom for every client, so please keep that in mind. It's not going to make sense to all of you. But anyways, so we say, hey, look, you are in the orange this week, go do the orange. That means go do this, send this message. How did he reply to the message? Maybe you're dealing with communication problems, right? He's not replying to you. You're going to be like, hey, today is an orange week because of certain reasons. It's going to be a harder week than usual. Instead of saying, hey, we need to talk, make up some other excuse. Go to him when he's in the kitchen and talk about something easy to talk about. That's assuming you have like communication problems, right? To him about something safe. We call a safe arena, right? Talk about the kids. How did he react to that? Positively, negatively. Do this, do that, right? Then, next day or a couple days later, you try again, something different, right? How did he react? How open is he today? A bit more open, cool. Say this. How did he react? This way, do that. And you can see how we have everything accounted for each client, right? That means that you're no longer guessing. You actually know what the hell to do when reality happens, right? This making sense so far? Let me know in the chat. Is following me here? Let's see how this is actually tangible, how this is actually a process. This is not a self-development program per se. We help you develop yourselves for sure. But the people we work with need clarity, need a plan, and need to be told, hey, you do this today, you do this tomorrow, you do this week, you come back to us, we tell you what to do. And through the process of doing this, again, this is not just a bullshit process. You go through the process, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to read the temperature of your spouse without having to have your coach tell you. Okay? You learn through actually doing. You don't learn through reading a bunch of books and kind of making your own system. You take a system, you master the system, and you learn how to communicate, how to rebuild trust. It's all built in here. Now, we call it the resistance cycle because we expect you to be more in the yellow-orange. Okay? Now, pause button, right? So as we go through the weeks, we're going to be tracking how well you're doing with the cycles, right? And we're going to say, hey, look, you send home messages, right? So day 1, day 2, day 3, right? We're going to be checking in. Hey, did you send a message, not a message like a text message, right? And again, you're not going to be sending a home message every day because there is such a thing as a home message overload, right? So be mindful of that. But it's going to look like this, right? You're going to report back to us, hey, today I was able to show her that I care by doing this. I was able to counter the narrative. I was able to oppose the belief that I'm not supportive today because I did that. The next day, nothing happened. This, that, right? And you start marking things up. And again, this is custom for every client. We give you a list of home messages you need to touch every day, big ones, right? And again, not every single day because you could overload it, right? Especially the first week. The second weeks are a bit more intense for sure. And we track things. These are numbers. This is data. At the end of the month, at the end of the week, we say, hey, look, you've hit the caring home message 20 times. Good. You've hit the not angry 15 times. Good. But look, dude, you've hit the supportive one only 2. What's going on there? Stop hitting the caring that much and not angry. Go work on this one. And through data, through numbers, which is what none of you guys have right now, we can tell you what to do. We can provide direction. Okay? That's the whole point. But this is only possible if you commit to doing it. We talk very highly about our success rate. This is not easy. You have to pay attention to this every day and check it off, right? Do it. But if you truly love your spouse, you will do it. It's not that hard. Come on. But you will be surprised. Many people pay multiple $1,000s to work with us, and they don't do the work. We're shocked. But anyways, that's what we try to avoid. That's why we don't let people join directly. We want to have calls with them first so we know we can trust them to do the work. Anyhow, pause button. What does this look like? Well, let's go back to the whiteboard. Pause button. Here, right? We went through the cycles, started showing the spouse that we're changing. We're different, right? And again, we're not changing them, we're different. Please get them back. No. We're trying to get them reattracted enough to the point that they themselves will recommit. And once they recommit, it is their turn to change and get better. You are not the only one changing. We will hold them accountable too. But before we can do that, they need to be checked in again. Right? So we first check them in, and then we will hold them accountable. You will not be the only one trying to fix this. Okay? They will put in their part. They will become a better person for you too, just like you're doing for them. But you need to start the fire because they are the alcoholic right now. They're the ones saying crazy things. Bottom. What we do here is what I told you. We ask for a pause first. Also, Sarah, we're late for your call, but I hope you don't mind because you're here too, right? So we'll have the call as soon as we finish the masterclass. Don't worry. Anyhow, pause button. You guys know the spiel, right? We have shown them change. Now it is your turn to finally ask for something. To pause the affair, pause the divorce. Again, you see how I say pause, not stop. You ask to stop the divorce, it's not going to fly. You need to understand. Why? It's simple. They see the change, but the main concern they have at this stage is that your change is only temporary. So what do you do to counter the narrative? You can see we're talking about narrative again, right? That your change is temporary. Well, you show them. How do you show them? Imagine that they separated, right? And now after a month or two, they see that, hey, you've changed, and they're really open. They talk to you a lot. They're really happy. You might maybe going on dates with them again, right? Rather than saying, hey, look, let's get back together. You say, look, let's spend a weekend home together. After the weekend, you nail it. We tell you what to do. You do it, right? You get it perfectly. You ask, hey, look, the weekend went well. Let's do it next week. You see, you go to the next step, right? After the weekend, you say, look, it's been going well so far. Look, it's Christmas next week. Let's spend the week together, everyone at home, right? You find an excuse. It doesn't need to be Christmas. You need to find an excuse, a reasonable excuse, right? And we help clients with that. Then we get them to spend a week with us. And guess what? Week after week, they start seeing how we change. And at some point, their lease is coming to an end. At some point, we work something out, right? In which they're spending maybe 2 weeks with us, 2 weeks away. A month later, we say, hey, look, I know you're paying for this apartment. It's fine. Come back home. I miss you. You miss me. And you make it work. Usually, interestingly enough, this happens on the healing cycle. So it happens at the end, right? Obviously, this is midway through the program, and on month 3 to 4. And what happens here is it's not you asking for them to come back. It is them asking you to, hey, can I go back home? Now, we're going to go through it in a second, but when they ask you, hey, can I go back home? What do you answer? Let me know in the chat. What do you answer to that? Victoria says, I need time. Come on, Victoria, you've been working for this. Now you say you need time? What do you guys say? If finally they say, hey, look, I want to come home. Hey, you know what? I wanna stop the affair. I'm gonna stop it. And I'm gonna stop the divorce. Seth says, only if you feel comfortable. Interesting, right? Being very supportive there. What else? What do you say? Yes, I do, but I have to set some boundaries. Yes, that's the correct answer. Now it is your turn to ask. Okay? Now is when we get clients to ask for new behaviors back. We hold your spouse accountable. So they're not toxic. So they're nice. So they become your boyfriend again, right? Like when you guys start in the honeymoon stage. But this is only possible because now they want you. And once they want to change their behavior, we will help you guys with that. Just says, what if we're still in the same house but separated? Is that a problem? Or that seems to be a good thing to me. So I'm not sure if you're saying it's a bad thing. But to me, that sounds like a perfect thing. If you're in the same house, I mean, that's like a dream for us, to be honest. Most clients who come to us are kind of living separate, have some logistical issues. So it looks pretty good. I'm not sure about your question. See if you can clarify, and I will give you more feedback there. But that looks pretty solid. That's not even a bad to me. That's a good thing. You're living in the same, maybe you're asking about the example here. If you're living in the same house but separated, then you simply say, hey, look, let's take a weekend to pretend we're not separated, right? Then just pretend you're not separated anymore, right? For a weekend. But again, you don't need to do that now. You need to do it after you've gone through multiple cycles, right? Your coach will tell you when. Anyhow, we hit the pause button, we get this, we go through the healing cycles, right? And the healing cycles, sure, it's pretty much the same thing you guys saw earlier, right? You gotta remember these cycles. So you temperature check everything, always temperature check, right? Always temperature check. Temperature check. Okay, this is not a course, this is a coaching program, just to clarify. We work with very few clients there. With temperature check, we go through the right ones, right? But in the healing cycles, rather than being so much on the red, on the orange, you're going to be more in the blue, the green, which means you're going to engage in different behaviors. You're going to engage in setting boundaries, holding people accountable, rewarding positive behavior. This is when you heal. This is when you build everything from the ground up. This is when you finally can ask your spouse to engage in behaviors you want. Now you're the one setting the pace and the tone so that you can both be happy again. It's like you help an alcoholic recover themselves, right? You show the alcoholic that it's possible to live without alcohol, that you can be happy without it. And now you're saying, hey, look, I've helped you through it. Now let's make you a proper person, right? It's kind of the same thing here a little bit. Making sense? Let me know, guys, in the chat what the what step the 1, 2, 3, 4 steps look like for you. Like, just give me a quick recap so I can make sure you guys understand how the path process actually is working here. How did you guys understand it? The 4 steps: the assessment, resistance, post-bottom, healing cycle. Send a quick chat message here so you guys get it. We're gonna be wrapping it up soon. Yeah, some people asking for the link again. You guys have the link there again to book a call. Assessment, and we assure that there is hope. Seth says the summary for him is take the step forward to make the next move. Go too far, take that back. Yes, that is the post button, the pause button, right? I feel like the next step, move forward, the next move, go too far, take that back. Kind of, yeah, that's like the pause button, but that's not like the whole process. The whole process is figure out her beliefs, go through cycles of showing her you've changed, even while she's giving you effectively shit, right? She's giving you trouble, she's insulting you, he's treating you badly. Of course, not in a toxic way, but like she's filing for divorce, she's having an affair, right? To the point that she sees you've changed and she likes you back. Then you hit the pause button, and then you get back to the healing cycles where you set boundary. Cool. All right, guys, we're gonna be wrapping it up soon. We're not doing like a few minutes of Q&A, but I'm gonna go in like 5 minutes. So let me know here in the chat any questions you have about the process. Again, if you haven't yet, let me know your phone number in the chat. We'll be reaching out to you guys, or you can use the link right then and there. And we'll get you guys set up with a call. So yeah. As I said, looking forward to talking to you on Monday as well. And if you guys are on the Facebook group, if not, join the Facebook group. We have, it's called the 60-second plan to get your spouse back. You can go on Facebook, join there as well. It's pretty good content. All right, guys, any questions? Now's the time. Literally give you actual good answer, not cop-out answers. So be nice, not like other people. We will actually answer proper questions. Check also Facebook as well, because we've been quite ignoring Facebook comments for a while. Let me just open it up. What we have there. Comments, what's your situation you guys want to know? Let me know. And we have quite a few things here. Calder location, hopefully I said your name right. I have moved back. Damien, slides. Give you guys assessment. Leanne is saying, how do I kind of get the person to stop sending messages to me via his phone? Leanne, I'm not sure who's sending you messages, but if somebody's sending you a message via text message, it means you booked a call very likely with us. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's very strange. Victoria, do you think it's possible to get trust back? Yeah, we do it every day. That's nothing new, right? That's not rocket science. We have clients who have cheated on their spouses, and we've helped our client reform and become a new person. We've also helped the other person retrust again, both sides, and vice versa, right? Somebody cheats on you, we can help you build the trust again, so you trust your other person, and vice versa. So 100%, that's actually what the whole process is about, right? Build the trust. All that matters is you believe. You believe that you can trust the other person, so we need to reveal that. It's not a cop-out for a spouse to have an affair because they're hurting, yet we have to do the hard work, blah, blah, blah. Katrina, that's overthinking. Right then and there. Like, it's a coach, right? They're overthinking there. Why do I have to put in the work? Listen, do you want them back or not? They're not adults responsible for their own actions. They are emotional alcoholics. Again, we agree. They are making a mistake. It's true. I agree with you, Katrina. Your husband is making a mistake by having an affair. At the same time, it's not true. You are the one to put in the work because you are the one lucid enough to try to get help. But yeah, we are going live right now on the 60-second plan to get your spouse back. So if you go to Facebook and you search on the search bar 60-second plan to get your spouse back, that is the name of the Facebook group. The replay is there. With that in mind, we should be good. We usually go for like, if it's a bad fit, we go for like 30 minutes. So we put it up a bit earlier. If it is a good fit, we usually go for about 60 minutes. So that's kind of how long the call is, Christy. I daily try to schedule it this weekend. This weekend, it's either me or Mark taking some of the calls. It's a bit better. It's not better. It's like, you know me now and you know Mark, right? It's always easier with somebody you know to open up. But again, the rest of the coaching team is great. All right, guys, I'll see you guys soon. And I'm going to start calling some of you guys. I think I have an appointment now. Sarah, I'll give you a call in a couple minutes after I drink water. And I will see you guys soon. Have a good one. In the Facebook group, dot 60-second plan. Called the. Yeah, you can go to the Facebook group to get the replay if you need to. Mr. Dot, no name. Welcome, Keith. You got it? Mr. Dot with no name. You got the replay there? Yep. Go to Facebook, search 60-second plan to get your spouse back. Oh, you're away. Damn it. Dude, wait, I think you're booked. Yeah, man. I think I texted you earlier on. I think, oh no. Go to the Facebook group, 60-second plan to get your spouse back. Okay? I will approve you later on so you can enter. And if you search there, you will see the replay there. Okay? I gotcha. Okay, guys, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.